Okay, good evening, everybody. It's 2 weeks left to Pesach, basically. So there's this week we're having a class about products and food items for Pesach. And next week, Amir Hashem, we will discuss the uniqueness of this year with all the various different laws as far as Erev Pesach that falls out on Shabbos. There's a lot of different dinim that people must be aware of. But I want to give an introduction to this whole food item. Again, we mentioned the other week that the Arizal writes that whoever is meticulously careful about even a drop of chametz, they're guaranteed not to sin during the year. So therefore, people, when it comes to Pesach, are very, very strict. And in fact, it says in halacha, there's nothing considered too strict when it comes to Pesach. But there is halacha, and there is custom, and there are what halacha allows, it doesn't allow, and then there are people that are very, very meticulous and very strict, and that's fine. A person could be strict as much as they want, as long as everybody in the family is on the same page. But what happens many times is people are going to shove, so to speak, their strictness, which is not, is mentioned in halacha, but doesn't have a basis in halacha, that it's something that needs to be done. And all that happens is that people hate Pesach. Kids get turned off from Pesach because of it, because basically people are doing things that are shoving their strictnesses on other people, even including members of the own family, when if you weigh the issues, like we said in the other class, according to all opinions, every opinion in the book, anger is biblically forbidden. It's like worshiping idols. So if somebody is going to have a strictness on Pesach that's going to cause anger and hatred to the whole concept of Pesach, you really need broad shoulders to take that upon yourself to say, well, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want for Pesach. So again, years ago, the way it worked, Pesach was what your parents did is what you did. Okay, your parents kept certain traditions, you keep certain traditions. With a lot of Bali Tshuva, we mentioned this every year, with a lot of Bali Tshuva, if you're going to do what your parents did on Pesach, you'll be eating a cheeseburger at McDonald's. So obviously, you can't do what your parents did. So when it comes to Pesach, for couples or newlyweds or Bali Tshuva or whatever it is, they need to sit down with somebody that they trust, that has a little or a lot of common sense, which is very uncommon, that knows the halacha, and to start discussing what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. Because you want to make Pesach enjoyable. We want to keep a kosher and a happy Pesach. Yet sometimes if we overdo it, people will get stressed out. They'll end up fighting. And that's not what Hashem wants in Pesach. So people that don't have customs from their parents really need to create their own level of strictness and observance of what they wanted would like to keep for Pesach. And hopefully they really should discuss it with somebody and make sure it's not overdoing it or underdoing it, and that everybody would be able to be on the same page. Now, years ago, many people were strict because they didn't have what we have today. I mean, today we have a lot of foods that you could buy with a proper hechsher that people, if they want, could use. Years ago, it didn't exist. Years ago, they didn't have disposable cutlery and disposable plates and disposable things like that. So Pesach was much more complicated. It was, they had a lot more things to do. Everything they had to make from scratch. Okay? So again, if people are willing to do this, I'll give you an example. Years ago, people didn't use oil on Pesach. Why? Because there was no kosher for Pesach oil. So what did they use instead? They used chicken schmaltz. Schmaltz is chicken fat, okay? Which that itself, you have to check and make sure there's no kernels of food in there that the chicken might have eaten. I mean, But there's a lot of things today that we have that people couldn't use, and it makes my life much easier. That's issue number one that I want to say. Number two, I hear this constantly from people when they talk to me. They say, I keep all the Chabad chumras on Pesach. We don't eat dairy, and we don't eat processed foods. And let me explain something which is very, very important for people to know. The definition, the Rebbe himself said this, wrote this, the definition of a Chabad custom is what the Rebbe said we should do. What's said in Sefer Minhagim, Hayom Yom, or this form that bring down from the Rebbe's letters that were gathered in the last number of years, the various customs that the Rebbe or the Rebbes themselves made. That is Chabad minig. When somebody comes along and says, I keep Chabad minig, I don't eat dairy on Pesach. Well, let me tell you a little secret. Everybody knows that in the Rebbe's house, there was milk on Pesach. And I think the Rebbe, I'm not saying the Rebbe ate, I wasn't in the house, I don't know. But in the Rebbe's house, it was known, okay, that the Rebbe had milchiks in his house on Pesach. So to say it's a Chabad custom not to eat milchiks, I think the Rebbe is as much Chabad as everybody else. So, you can't come along and make, Chabad doesn't use processed foods. You know what? That's not true. Wine is processed, matzah is processed, everything is processed. You could say you limit what you use, but you can't make a Chabad custom out of things that are not Chabad custom. You could say Chabad people don't, but that's not a Chabad minig. And we'll go into certain things that the Rabbeim write that we don't use. And we have to make sure that it's a chumrah that somebody is able to handle, the family is able to handle, and many times it's a chumrah that the individual person could take upon themselves. Let's say that father of the house wants to take a certain chumrah upon himself, fine, but don't do it at the expense of the other people in the house. Okay, so there's a lot of these things that people need to have guidance and not come along and make up their own things. Well, what Chabad custom is or what they should be doing. Every family needs to have their mashpia, okay, and their Rav that they talk to figure out what they should be doing or shouldn't be doing, what they've done in the past, and if they should continue or not continue, or maybe as people grow in Yiddishkeit, maybe they should start accepting upon themselves maybe a little bit more, as long as everybody in the house can handle it. I told many times the story that there was a couple, Baalei Teshuva couple, at the beginning of the becoming Baalei Teshuva. They were told, I don't know why, but they were told that if a fork or a spoon falls on the floor, you put it away until the end of Pesach. You just don't use it anymore because it fell on the floor. So what happened was this couple the husband did not let the wife use plastic cutlery, only the metal. And they had kids in the house, so every day another fork and spoon fell on the floor. So by the time Pesach came in the middle of Pesach, they had no more cutlery left. The husband was inviting guests. The wife says to him, I don't have cutlery, I can't, how are you inviting guests? So they got into a big fight, really a sholem bayis fight that I had to settle. They came into a bloody fight. He said, I understand. The wife was telling me I know what he wants. Everything that falls on the floor, he puts away. He can't even wash it and use it, which halachically, there's definitely no problem doing it. And he's inviting guests and he doesn't let me use it. What do you want me to do? Okay, but things like that is what's called in halacha chassid shaita, a mentally disabled chassid. Okay, it's not a normal thing of what a chassid would be doing. Okay, so now we're going to go through various different things. I just do want to say one thing. There's certain things that it's brought down that in Chabad, I'm not going into products that have a good hechsher. If you want to buy them, there's absolutely nothing wrong. We'll go through products, and we'll discuss, issues about that. But for instance, Chabad, we don't eat radishes on Pesach. That's from the Tzemach Tzedek. We don't eat radishes on Pesach. We don't drink alcohol on Pesach. even if it's kosher Pesach. In Chabad, the custom is we don't drink alcohol. It's from Rabbi Kiva Eger, it's from the Mizrach Magid. Are there reasons for it? Not necessarily. The Magid once told somebody, why don't you drink alcohol? I mean, of course, wine you drink. I'm saying, but like whiskey, the kosher Pesach, Slivovich, or kosher Pesach, vodka that they make from potatoes. We don't drink that stuff on Pesach. And he says, because the Zohar says that the matzah on the second night of Pesach is healing. The first night is amunah, belief. The second night is healing. And the Maggid said that it's known that anytime you take medicine, you don't drink alcohol. Alcohol ruins the medication. Okay, is that the real reason? Obviously, if the Maggid said it, there's a real reality to it. The Rebbe writes we don't use ginger or cinnamon on Pesach. These are things the Rebbe writes in the Haggadah. By the Chavesis, they used to put ginger and cinnamon, and the Rebbe writes for many years we don't use ginger or cinnamon anymore. We don't use, the Rebbe says we don't use cloves. Most people, but not even for Havdalah Saturday night, will use cloves. But they'll do either no psamim or something else with psamim. Obviously, we don't eat gebraks. We don't eat, we're very meticulous in not getting the matzah wet and things like this. Okay, so now we're going to go through a list, okay, of obviously, again, anything that has a real good hechsher and you want to rely on it, that's fine. I'll just say a few things that eggs and dairy products must be milked and the eggs need to be laid before Pesach. I'm not getting into the halachic reason for it now, but when you buy eggs, most people buy eggs before Pesach. Hopefully it's enough. If they run out of eggs, they can buy it from a store, but they should make sure that the eggs were laid before Pesach started. The same thing, milk. If you keep Chol Yisrael milk that people should keep for Pesach, by the way, for a lot of reasons, all the milk is milked before Pesach. Even if they make a delivery into the store during Chol HaMoed, but it's all milk that was milked before Pesach. Not only that, in the non-Chol Yisrael milks, they add vitamins that might be chametz, might be kitnius, and it might be a problem. So even if you're not buying Chol Yisrael milk, but you sure have to make sure that there's a kosher for Passover hechsher on it, because they do add certain vitamins that might be chametz on Pesach. So you need milk has to be from milk that was milked before Pesach. Eggs, you have to just make sure if you're buying eggs during Pesach, that the eggs came into the store before Pesach. If you're buying eggs in a kosher market, all those eggs are definitely there before Pesach. So it's not a problem. Okay, those two things you have to keep in mind as far as that you buy them before Pesach. Many people will buy all their fruits and vegetables before Pesach because they don't know in the store who touched it or whatever. Halachically, if you run out of fruits and vegetables, there is no halachic issue at all going to a supermarket or a kosher market. Kosher market might even be better, even though you don't have to. And you buy fruits and vegetables. Because you're going to peel them anyway in our circles. We peel the fruits and vegetables. And fruits and vegetables that we can't peel, many people don't eat because we don't know what they're sprayed with and what people touched it with their hands. So these are just things that people, but halachically, there's nothing wrong if somebody ran out of potatoes or cucumbers or fruits and vegetables, that there's no problem going into a store on Pesach and actually buying it if they need. Okay, so let's go through alphabetical order. Okay, all air fresheners are good. Alcohol, that is benzyl alcohol, methyl alcohol, sterile alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, which these are all for external uses only, are good for Pesach. A lot of alcohols are grain alcohols. That's why all the whiskeys without a hechsher for Pesach are real chametz. But these particular types of oils, of alcohols, are good. But you don't drink it. It's all for external use. Aluminum foil products. In other words, all aluminum foil, all aluminum pans, the disposable pans, anything of the aluminum nature that's disposable is okay for Pesach. I want to mention one thing. When we're mentioning all these things are good for Pesach, like aluminum foil, but you need to start a new roll, because the old roll that you were always handling with chametz, you don't know if any chametz got in there. So yeah, you can use any aluminum foil, aluminum pans, but you need to use a new roll. And the same thing with liquid detergents that we're going to learn later. You always need to have new things, because again, during the year, you're handling it with chametz and so on. Baby powder, if there's no oat flour listed in the ingredient. Now, a lot of them are cornstarch. A lot of baby powder are cornstarch, which is fine. You have to check the ingredients, make sure there's no oat flour in it. But cornstarch, even though it's kitnius, you're not allowed to eat if you're Ashkenazic, but you're allowed to benefit from it. But if, let's say, you're diapering a baby, or you're putting baby powder cornstarch on yourself, then you should make sure to wash your hands in the bathroom sink before you go and touch anything else, because it is kitnius. We don't want to touch the food with kitnius. Baby wipes, if it doesn't have alcohol in the ingredients, then it's fine to use on Pesach. Baking soda is good. Again, you can't use the same baking soda you kept in your refrigerator during the year, because who knows what got into that. Balloons, if there's no powder. Band-Aids are good. Bleach is good. All paraffin candles are good. If people want to do barbecues on Pesach, any charcoal briquettes that are unflavored are fine to use. Now, for the first night of Pesach, you're not allowed to eat roasted meat, so therefore you can't make a barbecue for the first 2 nights of Pesach. First 2 nights of Pesach. But you can have it during the day if you want. Cheesecloth, any cheesecloth can be used. Cocoa, any like the Hershey's cocoa, any domestically produced 100% pure cocoa with no additives is good. But they write, if it says in the ingredients on the label, it's processed in the plant that has kitnius or chametz, then you need a hechsher on that, because maybe some chametz did get into the into the cocoa. But the plain Hershey's cocoa, talking about the baking cocoa, that is fine. If it's the the instant cocoa, that must have a hechsher for Pesach. Contact lens solution are fine. Dental floss and the dental picks, any unflavored, whether they're waxed or unwaxed, doesn't matter, but they cannot be flavored. There might be an issue with the flavoring. All eye drops are good. Face powder is good. All the floor cleaners are good. Frozen fruit, I would say stay. They write that many of them are good if there's nothing, a lot of things in the ingredients, but you should stay away from frozen fruit unless if it has a hechsher. Okay. All furniture polish is good. Now, the gloves that you use in the kitchen gloves, anything that doesn't have powder in the inside. Okay, sometimes it says powderless, but a lot of gloves have powder, which makes it easier for your hand to go in and out. If you want to know, if you don't know if the glove has powder or not, it's a very simple way of doing it. Turn the glove inside out, rub it on a dark fabric. So if there's powder, you'd see it. Then you'd see it. Again, you shouldn't use it near food, because it might be a powder of kitnius or whatever it is. By the way, they write hospital disposable gloves may contain oatmeal. They say, it says on the label, if it contains oatmeal, then it's mamish chametz, you have to put it aside. Hydrogen peroxide is good. If you ice, any ice that you buy in the store, the packages of ice are fine to use. Any bag, plain water bagged ice is good. Rodent sprays may be used, but a lot of the baits, like mice bait and rat baits, might mamish have chametz. Some of the baits might actually be chametz, and obviously you're not eating it, but you can benefit from it, so that would still be an issue. Milk, we said you should preferably get Chol Yisrael. Nail polish is good. Nail polish remover is good. Nuts, okay, so if it's raw nuts, whether they're slivered, whole, or chopped nuts, almond, pine nuts, walnuts, if it doesn't have any preservatives, no BHT or BHA in corn oil are allowed for Pesach. A lot of people buy raw nuts in the shell, they peel it, they shell the nuts themselves. But again, according to the books of writing, all these things are okay. But anything which is dry roasted, toasted, blanched, and ground, also must have a hechsher. Let's talk about now plastic, paper and plastic disposable things. So we said aluminum foil is good. Paper bags are only good for cold use. You shouldn't use paper bags for hot food because there's a starch in the bag that might be either kitnius or chametz. All plastic bags are good. All coffee filters, if they're paper, are good. Crockpot liners, the plastic, are good. Cupcake holders, if they're foil, are good. All paper and all cutlery is good. Wax paper, cups and wax paper is only for cold use, not for warm use. Paper towels, the regular paper towels are all good. Some people want to say you should buy Kirkland is the best, but that's what Rabbi Blumenkrantz write. Bounty might be good also, but most of the books write any paper towel, the first 3 sheets and the last sheet, which is attached to the cardboard, should not be used. Plastic wraps are good. Plastic plates are good. Styrofoam plates and cups. There might be a problem with kashrus, but it's not really a big problem with kashrus. But as far as Pesach goes, if you use styrofoam cups a whole year, that I don't think, and I don't know anybody that doesn't, they're good for Pesach also. Tablecloths, all clear plastic, non-powdered, may be used. You have to make sure that they're not attached to one another. It's another issue. A lot of times you have, and this is a problem just on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Sometimes you have tissues that when you pull them out, they're really connected to the next tissue. And when you pull it, it's very loosely connected, and then you're just separating it. You can't do that on Shabbos or Yom Tov. It's not a difference with if the goyim wrap it. Trust me, there's no food in the paper towel that they wrap in those places. But even when you have pre-cut tablecloths, is not a problem. Furniture polish is good. Shoe polish is all good. Salt is like this. If it's the thick salt, like they call it the koshering salt, that's fine. Iodized salt must have a hechsher for Pesach, or even if it's non-iodized, if it doesn't contain dextrose or polysorbates, may be used. Your best bet, it's not expensive. Your best bet when it comes to Pesach, buy salt that has an OUP or a hechsher, with Pesach and things like that. Sugar, any plain white granulated sugar with no dextrose may be added. Confection sugar, brown sugar, must have a hechsher for Pesach. That they must have. Toothpicks, if they're unflavored, any toothpick could be used. Water, any bottled water, okay? Any bottled water is good. Okay, any bottled water is good. Some people want to write that the five. Let's say you get the sparklets, the Arrowhead, whatever. You the 5-gallon bottles of water because they reuse them. So some places are writing you shouldn't use those from containers because they're reused, and you don't know there might have been some type of hot chametz in there before. And again, it's a chumrah Pesach. So unless if you have many people who have a 5-gallon bottle that they bought just the empty gallon, just the empty bottle, and then they actually put the water in there. That's not a problem either. Okay, that's as far as this list is concerned. Now there's more on this list, which is last year's list, but it's not really that much of a big difference between last year and this year. Okay, so okay, nowadays, by the way, there's a lot of good books out. The Star K gives out a book. Rabbi Blumenkrantz gives a book. Rabbi Eidlis gives out a book of products. You can get them either in the stores or you can get them online. So if a person has a particular medicine or particular thing that they want to look up, there's no problem. You could just go online, either to the Chicago Rabbinical Council or the Star K from Baltimore or Rabbi Eidlitz's Kosher Information Bureau. And it's all online today. You can check it up yourself instead of, having to go through a million different things. Okay. Now, almond milk must have a hechsher for Pesach. Most of them are kitnius. Okay, we said antacid. They write Tums is kitnius. Xanthide pepsid. Rolates, they write contain animal glycerin and are kitnius. Now, the concept of kitnius, let me explain kitnius. It's a very important din when it comes to a lot of issues on Pesach. Ashkenazic Ga'inim, many years ago, before Rashi even, in the time of the Ga'inim, they answered, and Ashkenazic Jews accepted it, and the Sephardic Jews did not, because they were in a different part of the world. Ashkenazi Jews are not allowed to eat kitnius on Pesach. Okay, they can benefit from it, but they're not allowed to eat it. Now, kitnius is basically the legume family: rice, peas, corn. A lot of these different types of things are kitnius, so we don't eat them on Pesach. A lot of medications are kitnius. But the law is that a person who's sick is allowed to eat kitnius. Therefore, for instance, when you have a baby taking baby formula and it's a soy, so if it's OU and it's soy, it's kitnius, but it's not chametz. So let's say a baby that's on formula, soy formula, so they're allowed to drink that milk on Pesach because under 2 they have a din of a sick person. A sick person this decree was never applied to. So bottom line is that if, let's say, you have a baby bottle and the baby is drinking soy, you have to keep it away from the rest of your food. Also, it means when you want to wash out the bottle, you have to wash out the bottle in the bathroom sink, not in the kitchen sink where your food is, because it's kitnius. You have to keep the bottle or the formula, if you're keeping it in the fridge, in the bag separately, that it doesn't come in touch with anything else. A lot of medications are kitnius. But again, if you're sick, not eating deathly, you can do a lot worse than that. You can eat chametz. But if you're sick, obviously nobody just pops down Tums. Okay? I'll give you an example. If people are taking Tums because it's a good source of calcium, okay, and that's where they're taking Tums. So first of all, Tums, you have to make sure there's a hechsher on the bottle. Not all Tums are kosher. Okay, on the bottle you will see a hechsher. But even if it's kitnius. So if somebody has indigestion or whatever, heartburn, if they want, they could take the Tums. But if you're just taking Tums because you want to get calcium, then you're not allowed to take tums. If you're Ashkenazi, you're not allowed to take tums in Pesach because you're not doing it. You're not sick. You're not doing anything. You wouldn't be able to do that. Again, any product that has a reliable kosher Pesach hechsher is good. Okay, we're going to get to oils. He didn't discuss oils before, but we'll get there. Baby cereals, baby food must have a hechsher for Pesach. Baby oil, if it's pure, is good. All baby ointment, the desitin, all those things they put on babies are good, but when you finish using it, I mean, you probably would want to wash your hand anyway. I'm just saying, halachically, you would have to wash your hands because you don't want it to touching the food. Baby medicine, again, a lot of the baby, like Advil children, junior strain, Bayer children's aspirin, Benadryl children, a lot of them are good. So I can't list all the names now. Baby powder, we said is good. Baby wipes you wrote, baking some balloons. Okay, bird food, you have to get, there's a whole section in these things. There's whatchamacallit. Bird food or animal feed must be kosher for Pesach. Because even though you're not eating it, the animal's eating it, but you're benefiting from it, so you wouldn't be allowed to do it. Okay, cheese balls we said. Cocoa we said. Like Hershey's is good. Coconut milk must have a hechsher for Pesach. Shredded coconut, if there's nothing in it, is good. Now, whole beans, instant coffee. If it's not decaf, it's regular coffee, instant coffee. Folgers is good with an OU. Nescafe Taster's Choice is good. Or if you get coffee that has a hechsher. Decaffeinated coffees are a bigger problem because Folgers decaf is good because some of the processing in the decaffeination of it will have really chametz in it, and that could be a big problem. Plain, by the way, coffee beans that are unflavored, there's a whole list of all regular unflavored, only not decaffeinated. The grinder, if you're grinding it, it has to be clean because you use chametz with it a whole year. Okay, we said cold medication. We're not going to medications. Conditioners are good. Okay. Crayons are good except Crayola dough, glitter dots, whatever. Okay, I want to get to. Okay, somebody called me the other day. They have chicken in the freezer. They bought it, by the case from a company, and they want to know it's in their freezer, it's clean, no chametz on it. They want to know if they could use it for Pesach. I said, I don't know. You have to find out from the company whose case you bought it, where you bought the case, if they have Pesach the whole year. No, but there may not be. The butchers are for sure not. Coconut oil must have action for Pesach. That's for sure. Yeah, coconut oil must have a hechsher for Pesach. All oils, by the way, all oils must have a hechsher for Pesach, except extra virgin olive oil that has an OU. Only extra virgin olive oil that has an OU is good for Pesach, but it must have an OU. It doesn't need OUP. It has to have an OU. And again, obviously, we mentioned before, you need to have mamish new containers. You can't use the old containers. Denture cleaners, Polydent, Fixident, Super, Polygrip, Deodorants, the stick deodorant powders may be used. Okay. Now, clothes detergents, the powder that you put in the machine if you're allowed to wash during Chol Hamoed are all good. Dish detergent, okay, dish detergent that has an OU, such as they give a number of Ajax, Cascade, Ivory, or Dawn, or, any of those that have a regular OU are good for Pesach. Obviously, you need a new bottle. I know they sell the kosher companies that are 3 times the price and don't work. Because what they probably do is take the regular stuff and dilute it 3 times over. But if you want the Ivory, Dawn, Palmolive, all those liquid soap detergents that have an OU are reliable for Pesach. Diapers are all good for Pesach. Drain openers are all good. Dry fruit must have a hechsher for Pesach. Okay, dry fruit must have a hechsher for Pesach, otherwise it's not good. Egg products, we said, all those, okay. Eye drops are all good. Fabric softeners are good. Finger paint is a big problem because a lot of mamish have chametz in it. So you have to sell it and put it away with the chametz. Play-Doh, for instance, is real chametz. You have to sell it with the chametz. Fish, again, fish, if you're using the loaves, obviously you buy kosher fish. The best place to buy kosher fish for Pesach is the kosher markets that have a supervision and that, you know that it's reliable. But technically, if you buy a whole fish, okay, and what people would do sometimes, if it's a fish market that the person, what they would do is they would bring their own knives. Some fish guys do it, some don't let it. They would bring their own knives and they would tell the guy, put down paper, and the guy would use their knives and fillet the fish. They take a whole fish, they saw the skins, they would take it and they would fillet it with the person's own knives. That is the best way of doing it. Now, he says all raw fish in this book is best purchased with a kosher for Pesach hechsher because it might be a kidney's glazing. However, in absence certified for Pesach fish that is easily available, the fish basically, if it has an OU on it, they want to say it's kosher lePesach. And you have to make sure the skins are attached to it, otherwise it might not even be kosher. Forget about Pesach, it might not be kosher. So fish, again, people sometimes want to go to Costco, they can buy a whole fish. I mean, if it has an OU, if you want to buy it, I'm not saying you're not allowed to, but you really should cut off by the end of the fish, where the fish was cut off a thin slice, because you don't know what knives they use for it, and it's Pesach. So cut off a thin slice, you wash off the fish well, then they write you could use it. But again, I know it's much cheaper, but if you have a kosher fish market, it's appropriate to buy it from a kosher fish market. Dried fruits must have a hechsher for Pesach. Okay, furniture probably said garbage bags are all good. Now garlic. Do people use garlic on Pesach? The answer is, to answer like a typical Jew, some do and some don't. Okay? The basis of it is a Prima Godim. Prima Godim says he knows that there's a custom not to use garlic, but they don't know why. Some people want to say that the reason why people had a minig years ago not to eat garlic on Pesach was because the farmers, when they were growing garlic, this is what they say, maybe they would dip their bread into the garlic to get some garlic taste on the bread. So therefore it became a minig. But again, if your custom is not to use garlic, then you shouldn't use it. If you want to, halachically, if the garlic is a full clove of garlic, that you have to peel, then it's not a problem at all. So that you can use. But again, it's all these things that either you use it, you don't use it. By the way, if you had a custom not to use garlic as a chumrah, and halachically you want to start using garlic, you're going to have to be matan neder. You're going to have to nullify the vow, because the fact that you did it 3 times means that you were accepted upon yourself a minig. Again, that has to be taken care of. Gasoline that you can get. Glue, Elmer's glue is good, not crazy, not, by the way, the Elmer's paste is not good. Crazy glue, Ross glue is good. Hand sanitizer, if there's no alcohol in the ingredients, it's good. By the way, in COVID time, it's interesting. During COVID, if you remember, everybody, all the Rabbanim then permitted the hand sanitizer. Everybody, because it's not a big question to begin with. And because of COVID, so everybody said you can use hand sanitizers. But some people, I mean, if you can get away with it, you don't use it. But even if you do, it should all be bought before Pesach. It should be bought before Pesach. Coming back to the sugar, many people have a minig, many people have a custom that if they use sugar, they boil the sugar. Why do they boil the sugar? Because then they make it into a liquid. If it's a liquid, then it's less halachic problem than Pesach, if in case there might be a drop of chametz in it. Okay? But again, I want to say one more thing, and I'm not saying you could do it, you shouldn't do it. I'm just telling you, according to halacha, and you're going to give an introduction that would make sense. Before Pesach, chametz is nullified 1 in 60. Like meat and milk, treif and kosher, it's nullified 1 in 60. What happens when Pesach comes? So then the din is like this. If it's solid, if it's dry substance, then it reawakens itself and it's not nullified anymore. Chametz on Pesach, we mentioned the other week. Chametz on Pesach is never nullified. 1 in a billion is not nullified on Pesach. Before Pesach, it's nullified 1 in 60. What happens when Pesach comes? So the halacha is if it's dry, it reawakens itself. If it's liquid, it stays nullified. That's why when you cook over sugar, the main purpose of people cooking over sugar, number one is they also strain it. But they also do it because then it becomes a liquid. So in case 1 in 80 billion chances that maybe something fell into the sugar, so then it still wouldn't be a problem. But the Rebbe writes that by the Rabbeim they didn't use sugar. That doesn't mean, and the Rebbe writes clearly, it doesn't mean it's a lesson for everybody else. That's it. The Rabbeim didn't use sugar at all. But again, a lot of people that use sugar cook it over. Halachically, if it's like CNH sugar in LA or whatever, is 100% good. Okay, so that's the story why people cook over sugar. And so coming back to this point. So there are people, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. That's up to you. There are many people, in many places, and they're very firm places, we don't eat fruits and vegetables that we don't peel. I mean, tomatoes you could peel, but there's a lot of fruits and vegetables like celery. I mean, celery you could peel. There's a lot of things that are very difficult to peel. Okay? So many people won't eat it on Pesach, period. But many people, why? Because maybe they sprayed the outside. Maybe somebody with chametz stick hands touched it. That's the reason why people peel fruits and vegetables on Pesach. So now, what happens though if you cook before Pesach? You cook before Pesach. So what are we afraid of? Maybe something was on the... So many people will cook with the peels on before Pesach. They won't use it. I'll give you an example. A lot of people who eat strawberries during the year will not eat strawberries on Pesach because you can't peel a strawberry. But if they'll cook strawberries in food before Pesach, they'll eat it on Pesach. Why? Because it was prepared before Pesach. So halachically, even if there is something there which it might not be kosher, not Pesach, it's still good. Understand? So many people are lenient that they cook, and halachically, it's 100% correct. I'm not saying you should do it or you shouldn't do it. That's your business. But a lot of people will cook things before Pesach with the peels on, and certain things they might not use during Pesach. But again, that's up to the person individually to decide if they want to do it or not. Juices that you're buying in the store must have a proper hechsher for Pesach. I'll give you an example. I'm just telling you what they say. Real lemon juice with a plain OU. Yeah, real lemon juice with an OU is good, even if you don't, if it doesn't have a P. Now, many people will make their own lemon juice. I mean, you squeeze lemons, orange juice. They say Tropicana orange juice is 100% good for Pesach. But nevertheless, many people will make their own juice. So all these things are juices, but regular juices, like if you're having apple juice or any of those juices, must have a proper hechsher for Pesach, because there's added ingredients that could be a problem. Okay, liquor, we said we don't, meat, you have to find out, you have to get from the kosher Pesach. The meat that you buy in the stores, okay, you can't have meat from a month ago and use it for Pesach because the store was not made chametzdik. So they're not Pesach dik, they're just not used. They're not used. I mean, they're chametzdik, so you can't do it. Somebody's asking about seltzer. Seltzer is here. All should have unflavored seltzer that have no citrates listed in the ingredients are good. If it's flavored, it must have a hechsher for Pesach. That's the story with seltzer. Okay, let me just continue here. Milk, we said. Milk substitutes, we said. Nuts, we said. Oils, again, any oil besides extra virgin olive oil with an OU, if you want to use it for Pesach, you must have a hechsher on it. Again, all these oils must have a hechsher for Pesach, except, again, the extra virgin olive oil. Pain medication, those things you go look up. And the things, styrofoam paper cups, not paper. The problem with paper is there's a starch in it. Okay, and because it's a starch, a cornstarch, or maybe even an oat starch, so it could be sometimes an issue with chametz or kidneys. So they don't use paper for hot food, or paper towels, though even they write that you could use for hot food. Plastic plates, plastic containers are good. If somebody is taking vitamins, somebody asked the question before, if somebody's taking vitamins, you need to ask your doctor if you can do without it for 7 days. And most of the time, unless if you have a sick condition that the doctor says you must take vitamins every day, then you have to ask a shaila. Generally speaking, liquid medications, chewable medications, powdered medications are much greater halachic issue than pills or capsules that you swallow. Just even for Pesach, not only a whole year, even Pesach. So if somebody has to take a medication that, let's say, is a liquid and it's not on the list, they should try to find out if they can get a pill form, because that's much less of a problem. Anybody that's taking heart medication, blood pressure medication, thyroid medication, any medication, there's no question in the world they have to take it. Okay, I'll give you an example: prenatal vitamins. Okay, so I spoke to a number of OBGYNs. I asked them, is it so important that a woman takes it for Pesach? They said if it's a normal pregnancy, there's no reason why they can not skip a week. But again, I'm not telling you not to take it. Ask your doctor. If your doctor says you can do a week without it, do a week without it. If the doctor says you need to take it, and it's a tablet, and the doctor says, or a tablet, capsule, then you could take it. The poultry raisins need a hechsher for Pesach. By the way, even Sfardim that eat rice and Pesach, you just can't buy rice. There's special rice you have to buy with a lot of hechsherim and things. It's not so simple. Rice milk can be chametz also, not only kidneys. Okay, anyway, what else is there? Salt we said. Okay, soy milk we said. Styrofoam tablecloths. Oh, tea bags. Okay, any tea bag which is regular, unflavored, and not herbal. And again, not decaf. So like the Lipton plain tea, sweet touchni is good. If you want to have the herbal teas, they must have a hechsher for Pesach. So that you have to get in the kosher store. Okay, they're right over here. Regular tea bags that are unflavored, not decaffeinated, and have no filters, just as chicory, may be used for Pesach without special certification. Some plain tea bags contain grapeseed extract and are not kosher, period. Toothbrushes, by the way, you need to get new toothbrushes for Pesach. Toothpaste, Aim, Colgate, Close Up, Pepsodent, Ultra Bright, a lot of the Crests this year they write are good.
Crest is good or not good?
The Crest they write over here, I'll tell you which ones, 1 second. Okay, toothpaste, they write. Oh, no, that's what I was doing. 1 second. Looking in the wrong book. 1 second. Tell you one thing, you should learn your alphabet when you go into these lists. Okay, toothpaste, which are good. Aim, all of them are good. Colgate, all are good. Close Up, all of them are good. Crest, cavity protection gel and paste. Kids Crest, Crest and Scope. Crest 3D refreshing mint is good. Sensodyne is good. The Listerines are also good. Okay, that's as far as but obviously you have to remember to get a brand new toothbrush. Now, as far as the mouthwashes are concerned, Listerine is good. 1 second. The mouthwashes which are good are Listerine, Freshbird, Sensitivity, Scope. All the Scopes are good. A bunch of the Listerines are good. The Crest mouthwash is not on the list. I don't know if it's good or not. I'm not saying it's not. I just don't have it on this list. Okay, let's just finish this up. The tea bags we said, coffee we said, toothbrushes, you need to get new ones. Hand soap is good. All the hand soaps are good. Again, when it comes to medication, the problem is I can't go through the whole list of medications. Okay, I'll give you, let's just go through, for instance, stomach medications. Alka-Seltzer is good. Dramamine, some of them are dairy, but if you swallow them, it's not a problem. Imodium, Kaopectate, Metamucil, not the wafers. Pepto-Bismol, original liquid, regular ultra liquid. Pepto-Bismol we just said. Pain relievers: Advil, Aleve, Bayer aspirin, Motrin, Tylenol. Antiperspirant, deodorants, Arid, Old Spice, Right Guard, Secret, Sure. Any stick deodorant is good anyway. Creams and ointment, A&D. Bird chapstick is good, but you can't use it on a Shabbos or Yom Tov. Lecithin is good, Neosporin is good, Neutrogena is good, Tenactin is good, Vaseline petroleum jelly is good. Okay, bar soaps, basically they're all good. Some of the liquid soap, just make sure there's no oats in the ingredients, because that would be a shtickle problem, and that's it. If anybody has any questions, let me see the comments again. Let me make sure I answer them. If not, 1 second. By the way, I just want to mention next week in Mirz Hashem, we're going to be discussing the Seder and all the issues that come up this year, especially because it's Erev Shabbos. I mean, Shabbos is Erev Pesach. Okay. The difference between kosher macro and Mexican workers, no, there's no difference. No, okay. What about real fabric tablecloths? Can they be used after a regular wash? If somebody has regular tablecloths and they wash it well in hot water, you can use it, especially if you put a plastic, tablecloth over it. Coconut oil has to have a kosher for Pesach symbol. I said that. Vitamins for health, again, only if you need it. Seltzer. Please remind us where these lists can be found. It's either the Rabbi Blumenkranz book, which is very thick. By the way, in Mid-City Chabad, or a lot of the stores, all the bookstores sell Rabbi Blumenkranz's book and the Baltimore book, which has Rabbi Bess's medicine list in it. Those are two very good books. You can either go online or you can buy them in the kosher and the bookstores. Cosmetics, face creams, all their face creams are good because they're not edible for dog. If you need to, after you do it, you have to wash your hand. Make sure before you touch food. Is mouth guard that you do use in your mouth when you go to sleep? Yes, you should just wash it off well. You're not eating with it anyway. Cloth, tablecloths, kitchen towels can be used if washed. Halachically, if they're washed with hot water and you check them to make sure there's no chametz on it, it's fine. The Yiddish custom is that you have tablecloths for Pesach and dish towels for Pesach. But again, can you use the same electric toothbrush and just change the head? If the machinery is clean and you're changing the head, yes, you could. Plastic guard, again, is good. Can you use Kirkland frozen blueberries if we puree and kosher Pesach blended before Yom Tov? If you want to use it, you could before Yom Tov. What should be done enough about pet bird? Is enough to give it to a guy to watch? No. You can't just give your animals to a guy and watch them for you because they're your animals and your food and you're benefiting. If you have animals and you don't, there's a whole list in the books of kosher pet food, of dogs, cats, birds, all that stuff. But if you can't, you have to speak to it up because you actually have to sell the bird. Let's say a bird. You have to sell the bird to the guy. You have to sell him the bird feed before Pesach because there can't be your bird feed and it can't be your bird. So you have to speak to it up if there's no kosher. What about makeups? Again, most of them are good. Again, you have to go through the list. There's tons of names of companies. I can't read 20 pages now. It's just impossible. Can you please share again? I just said about that. Rizal said if you're about chametz, you guaranteed not to sin during the year. 1 second. With the question, it's 9 o'clock, LA time. Okay, so everybody have a great Shabbos. Don't forget your Shabbos Sunday. Monday night we'll meet the regular Parsha share. Next Wednesday, no, I'm sorry, this Monday night there's no share. Doesn't come Monday night. Monday night there's no class. Wednesday night, we're going to finish up Pesach, but this year's uniqueness is the Shabbos. So then, have a great Shabbos. Don't forget to get ready for Pesach, and there should be a culture and